who trashed all their family. You know, whether it was her father or whether it was Harry's entire family at a time when Prince Philip and the Queen were both dying.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
There they were on national television, from Oprah Winfrey to Netflix to whatever, you know, as the Spotify guy put it, whatever grift they could get paid for, up they were trashing their families. So the idea now that they're reduced, or that certainly Meghan Markle is now reduced from somebody who, you know, remember Meghan, she had a fairy tale royal wedding that was seen around the world. You know, the carriages drawn down to Windsor Castle and so on. It was an amazing event. Fact. Everyone in this country, I'm in the UK at the moment, everyone loved that marriage when it happened. There was universal support for it, euphoria. It was only their behavior in the first year of their marriage when they began to behave rankly hypocritically, lecturing about poverty whilst having $500,000 baby showers, you know, to lecturing us about the need to watch our carbon footprint and using Elton John and George Clooney's private jets like taxi cabs. And it was the constant hypocrisy.
Okay.
They got picked up on by the media, and then they couldn't handle the criticism from the media, and then it all turned hostile. Then they started suing everybody, and the whole thing got so toxic. Eventually, they just say, we've had enough of this. We're not going to do any more dreary duties on a wet Wednesday.
Stop it.
Which is what you have to do to, you know, to earn your royal titles in the estimation of the public. And they decamped off to Montecito, bought themselves a massive mansion. And they were supposed to be doing it, Meghan, if you remember, you know, this was going to be their liberation, their freedom.
Wait for it.
And it was supposed to make them happy. I've never seen two more miserable people who never stop whining and suing absolutely everybody in the pretense that this is because they found their liberation and freedom. If you're so damn happy and free and liberated,
Are you serious?
well, shut up, stop whining and complaining about everything. But they're obviously not happy. And it's obviously been diminishing returns where when you trash your family again and again and again, eventually there's not much left to say. And people don't really want to hear it. It's like the Spotify guy said, they're just a pair of grifters who just want to trash their family for loads of money and not put a shift in to do proper work. You and I know how hard it is to do this kind of thing properly. You know, it's a lot of work with a dedicated team, and you put the hours in, and you've got to be creative and
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
high energy and really put graft in. These two wanted to do massive deals with companies and then not do any work. Nobody wants to see her next podcast. Nobody listened to the first one. And that's for this thing she's now doing with the ridiculously long name that no one can remember, where she's going to try and
Riviera,
the
American, whatever. I have to write it down. American Riviera Orchard. See footnote 47 for the remainder of the name.
Right. And she's now got all her celebrity, you know, sort of B-list, C-list mates.
Stop it.
Putting out Instagram posts about her jam, and it's like, how the mighty fall. This was a woman who had it all in this country, who literally had it all, and is now flogging jam from her kitchen in Montecito, while her husband runs around fuming about absolutely everything and everyone, because he knows in his gut, he knows what he's lost, and eventually those chickens will come home to roost.
And then she will be touting their eggs on her stupid website where she's wearing evening gowns while walking around her mansion that we're supposed to feel sorry for her because she's in. I love it. But on the grifter subject, one of the funniest things is Bill Simmons, who said that at Spotify, I've never seen such a pair of grifters. They wouldn't do any work. She got paid all this money. She barely did anything. Him too.
Yeah.
And now she signs this pod deal with this Lemonada. We're not getting a podcast for years. And then she decides to sign this deal with Netflix. She's done nothing other than now this show she's going to do on cooking and friendship. Finally, okay, we'll believe it when we see it. And then finally, she's got her little Riviera thing going, where so far we've had one jar of strawberry jam. She's so lazy.
The whole thing. It's sort of lazy and a bit pathetic. You know, this is somebody who demands that we use the title Duchess of Sussex. I come from Sussex, which is a county in the south of England. I've spent more time in Sussex in the last month than Meghan Markle has spent in her entire life. She has
She's your ruler, Piers. I didn't know that. She's your...
She ain't my ruler, Meghan Kelly. She is somebody who, listen, as I've said to you, I think many times before, if they actually want to do this kind of thing and trade themselves around as sort of, celebrities and do that sort of circus, then they can do it. But they can't
Stop it.
do it with the royal titles. They shouldn't be using the royal titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex, bestowed on them by the monarchy, an institution they constantly complain about and trash whenever they get the chance. Fine, if you want to go off and be celebrities in California, do it. But
Are you serious?
don't trade on the titles. Every time I see her demanding to be called Duchess of Sussex, I laugh. Nobody in Britain calls her that. Meghan Markle. She got lucky, met her prince, dragged him out of the bosom of his family, dragged him away from the monarchy.
That doesn't make sense.
Which bestowed those titles on them, and has now ruthlessly, with him, exploited those titles for massive personal gain. And I think it's disgusting and hypocritical. They shouldn't be allowed to do it. I hope that King Charles, who obviously is massively distracted by his illness, but I hope that King Charles at some stage just has that conversation and says, you can't keep the titles, I'm sorry, but you can't keep demeaning the status of being a member of the royal family and attacking the family and the monarchy and retain your titles. You can
Surprise, motherfucker.
just be Harry and Meghan and see how you get on, by the way, when you're no longer royals, because the answer is not very far.
That's right. Who wants your jam then?
We don't need to wait for history to judge how he's getting on with that. And as the global media he supposedly loathes gorged on the red meat he'd toss them, Harry did precisely what any dignified member of Britain's proudest institution would never do. Fact. He toured with TV studios with lurid tidbits for clapping seals.
Can you explain how it is that the royal standard got frostnip?
We've taken quite a leap from grief and trauma to my Todger.
That doesn't make sense.
Todger, that's a very gentle word.
Is it gentle?
Todger. Sounds like a nice nickname.
Was that befitting of a member of the royal family? Can anyone seriously take Harry seriously as a counsellor of state, shouldering the burden of 1,000 years of history as Britain's representative across the world? And Harry and Meghan are not exactly turning down the gas on their flamethrowing. Their client journalist and professional lickspittle, Omid Scobie, published a book in which he accidentally outed the King and Princess Catherine as racists. An implausible, ludicrous claim which unwittingly did more damage to the Sussex racism smear than anything else.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
And they jetted to Jamaica to attend a movie premiere just as King Charles revealed he'd been treated in hospital for an enlarged prostate, posing for smiling photographs with a Jamaican Prime Minister who literally wants to abolish the monarchy. For Harry to now claim he's ready and willing to serve his country and his king is frankly an insult. We all know what this is really about. Netflix is reportedly planning to pull the plug on Harry and Meghan's $100 million deal.
Okay.
Their series caused a lot of media outrage, but didn't even crack the top 200 shows on the platform last year. Spotify cancelled Meghan's dreary podcast. Without their royal links, the brutal reality is that Harry and Meghan are of no interest to anybody. Fact. And that's why they're rebranding, yet again, to double down on their dubious royal status. Their previous website, Archewell, inspired by their son Archie, now automatically redirects to sussex.com. A glossy picture of the couple dominates the main page.
Are you serious?
Overlaid with a text to the office of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The website has nothing to do with king and country or the royal family, and Harry and Meghan have no royal duties to speak of.
What?
They never put a shift in. They're brazenly exploiting the institution they simultaneously profit from trashing, and we're all being taken for the ride. The late Queen was right. They can't be half in, half out.
Stop it.
And they're out. They sold their royal souls for life as reality stars, trading every private cough and splutter for cash. The king should now return the favour and strip them of their tenuous titles.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And end this Sussex circus for good. Well, to debate all this is my royal pack, the uncensored contributor, Paula Rowan-Adrian, the royal editor, Sarah Hewson, and from New York, the columnist Maureen Gallagher. Well, welcome to all of you. All right, let me start with you, Sarah, to set the scene here for what's really going on behind the scenes. Lots of messages seemingly being communicated to the media.
Mixed messages, I think.
Very much mixed messages.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
What do you read into it? What should we read into it?
It's really hard to read between the lines here, but there were reports over the weekend that Prince Harry has made it be known that he would be willing to make a temporary return.
What is he doing?
To the royal fold to try and relieve some of the pressure on the royal family while his father and his sister-in-law are
first of all?
Look, I mean,
it looked well sourced to me.
Yeah, I think it's probably very likely that he has said at some point, and
Are you serious?
perhaps in some ways we could say it's laudable. He said, look, if you're really struggling, I can come back. I will do that.
You know what I found?
But it's not going to happen.
You know what I was struggling with, using the word struggling, was his explanation that, you know, these kind of family
Stop it.
situations where someone's very sick can bring everyone back together when he, according to the other members of the family, is single-handedly responsible for all the fallout in the first place. Fact.
But it seems to me, from his tone and his language, that he is now seeking some kind of rapprochement. It's much more conciliatory language that we're hearing from Harry. No more demands for an apology from the family before any kind of contact.
But from what I've read, and it looked pretty well sourced again, an emphatic no thanks.
Yeah, absolutely no way back.
Particularly from Prince William.
I think that's the biggest mountain that Harry has to climb.
Are you serious?
It may well be that behind the scenes there are cordial conversations taking place with his father. And that is what he's talking about when he says, you know, this can bring families back together. And so it should. You know, his father has cancer and has always wanted Harry to come back. But there's a big difference between family relations and then Harry making an official comeback as a working member of the royal family. The terms of the Sandringham summit were absolutely clear.
All in.
Okay.
Late Queen
Or all
said
out.
You can't be half in, half out.
Okay.
You're in or out.
Let me bring in Maureen here. I mean, Maureen, I've got to say, whenever we try and find a number of lies, and I said that on air the next morning. Other guests disagreed with me, and you were delighted about the way they came after me, and that's fine. But then you said I was racist repeatedly. That my criticism was racially motivated.
You can do it! You're being intellectually dishonest. You did not just say she was a liar. You questioned other aspects of her mental health.
No, I said I didn't believe them.
Aspects of it as offensive. Repeat what you said.
I said I didn't.
Repeat what you said.
I said I didn't believe her.
Stop it.
Why?
Because there is no evidence to support the claims that she made. She said she went to a senior member.
Her expressing
I'm about
what
to tell
happened
you,
to her, how
Ernest.
she felt, was no evidence?
Ernest, I'm about to tell you what I said.
Okay.
She said she went to a senior member of Buckingham Palace staff and said she was feeling suicidal, and that member of staff said she couldn't get help. That story doesn't reappear in Harry's 415-page book.
Are you serious?
And